All right, so look, real quick. I wanted to bring you back in and show you. Focus in right here on these two dots here, Tom. Okay, that one there, look, just closed. Watch this right here. Okay, it's real close. It's real close. It's a little closer. And it's finally looking like it's getting ready to shut. So, you see my point. Just by sitting here, just by doing nothing, it is already self-leveling, and these little trench lines here, if you will, are already coming together, forming, and they're starting to move towards each other. Now our circle is completely gone. This is what I wanted to tell you real quick while we're still waiting on everything to catch up and self-level. I want to show you this side over here. Okay, when we dumped all this out, you see this right here. See how there's no resin here yet? No resin here yet. Look at the front edge. See how all that resin is already there. There's not a miss anywhere on that front edge. That is why we don't leave it like this. Okay, I've seen a lot of people leave it like this. It is already starting to create a line here. So depending on where you're at in the process and try to add resin in here later, that's where it's going to start running right there in those spots. This line is already distinctively starting to take shape, and there's no resin in here filling that up. So when you bring it in later, it wants to leave that little vague line, even though it's clear hitting clear. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Okay, so we've given that a little more time to self-level. Tom, go ahead and show them. So look, check out that back line. That back line was really wide. Okay, these are not nearly as wide as they were. Those all really started to self-level, close. Now this is where we're going to take this guy right here. Just a little Bondo squeegee, okay? We're going to take this and we're going to move this and help this close a little bit quicker so that we can get on with our process. Just like that. I didn't push it off the table. I'll get those edges here in just a second. Now the back already, that's why I concentrated on the back. We have a really wide piece. It's hard for me to reach back there. That's why I added more in back there. And look, I'm just lightly moving through here. That will self-level right back out. We're just getting those to shut a little quicker than by themselves. Any little misses you might see, all this will self-level and fix itself from me moving this. Okay, and last but not least, keep in mind our working time is about 40 minutes. Okay, we've probably used about 10 of those minutes. So now I'm going to check my sides, and I'm going to get those caught up here and even. I'm going to come back over here to this side, and I'm going to catch these guys up. There we go. Now, as you can see, okay, it's still going to level itself out. All we've done now is we've spread this out so we don't have to sit here and wait. If we allowed that to self-level, it may or may not have closed those bigger channels. But this is how we can move the resin around so that we don't have to mix up more resin to fill in those channels. We've got a nice thick top coat on here. Everything is looking good. So we're going to just let this sit here, use up a little bit more of our working time, and we're going to bring you right back and start right in with the isopropyl and taking care of all these bubbles, down to the torch, down to the drips. Okay, so we are ready. We've tested our isopropyl. So I can tell you this, if you're way up here with this, these drops are going to come down and make big splashes. Okay, you want a very, very fine mist. And usually I try to hold something underneath to catch any of the big drips. Just kind of like this right here, just to blanket any big drip that might fall from that nozzle. And we're going to spray this guy just like this. Ready? Now, the thing about the isopropyl, it will cause all these fish eyes that you're seeing. It's perfectly normal. While that sits there, that isopropyl is going to work for us and go down into the top. It's going to gather up all the bubbles down below, shove them to the top, pop them all, and whatever's left here in about 10-15 minutes should just be what we call surface bubbles. That is where we're going to bring in the torch and torch those out. So in the meantime, we're going to let this just work for us right now, do its thing. The fish eyes and all that will go away. And within 10 to 15 minutes, this will all clear up, clean up, and then we're going to bring you back in, torch this guy, and finish this guy the rest of the way out. Okay, so we're ready. We were off camera about 10 minutes or so. So everything has settled. Of course, you know, Tom, go ahead and give him a shot. Fish eyes are all gone. All that is left is really just surface bubbles. That is it. Okay, everything down in there, you know, and don't be confused when we put the fine glitter in, when we torch these bubbles on the surface and all that. Don't be confused with one of the glitter tits thinking it's a bubble. So if we sweep over this about 6 to 8 inches off the surface to get these bubbles, if something is not popping for you, don't go further towards it. You're just going to create that much more heat in that area. You don't want to risk burning this. White and clear finishes are one of the most crucial pieces and colors that can burn if you hold this torch to it too long. So sweeping motion, about 6 to 8 inches off the surface, maybe a little bit more, and all we're trying to do, and don't forget your face, of course, all we're trying to do is get these surface bubbles off here. So here we go. If you're like me, you got long arms, it takes everything you can do to reach back there and not hit nothing. So, you know, keep that in mind too. That's why we poured, you know, a lot thicker in the back area. It's just harder to get to. It was harder to bondo that, you know, and get it to close and all that, just having to reach that far. So we've covered the whole area here. I am going to go ahead and grab this face very lightly. Just in case there was any right there, and that's probably going to do us. We are going to let this sit here for a couple of more minutes. We're not quite ready for the bubbles. We're going to bring you back in and show you that part of it as well. So we will be right back. We're just going to sit here and kind of monitor everything, make sure everything is good. Pretty much everything you're seeing now is the sparkle that we put in there from the silver glitter. So we're going to bring you right back, address these bubbles here, the drips, if you will, that are hanging off the front edge just like yesterday, and we're going to go ahead and close this out. We are just about done. Okay, so we've got everything torched. It is just phenomenal. Tom, give him a shot. That is just super sick. Okay, so we're definitely happy. Anything really that you're seeing now on our end, being here in person, there are no more bubbles that we see at all. So if you think you're seeing any, chances are that's where that glitter is. Those easily can confuse you to think that there's a bubble there, and really, in fact, it's just the glitter. So we're definitely ahead of schedule with these drips. But just like we always do, I'm going to go ahead and show you anyway. We'll just have to babysit these. It usually takes about an hour or so, hour and a half after the piece is completely done. And this is outside of your 40-minute working time. So when the 40-minute working time ends, it's usually about another hour to an hour and a half of babysitting these. You don't have to wipe the drips every time. I just like to about every 10 to 15 minutes because it tells me how much more dry they are and getting ready to cure, and you don't want to wait too long. You go to start moving these and all of a sudden they don't move. So I'm going to go ahead and do this end down here that you can't see. And then I'm going to do the front that you can see. When I get near the front, I start in the front and go back. Check it out. Here we go. That's what you're looking for right there. If you need to go back, no problem. Just go back the opposite direction. Just like that. It's going to leave a clean, perfect finish line every time. But like I said, the trick is that it's not ready yet. These are going to come back within probably 5 to 10 minutes. So 10 or 15 minutes from now, I'll come in here and repeat this process. Each time that I do, I should feel these BBs starting to stiffen up and not wanting to move. And at that point, you'll know. You'll go to swipe that. It's really, really sticky, doesn't want to move much. That is probably your last swipe right there. Make sure it's clean just like this and you'll never have a problem on the finish. So thank you all for tuning in. We hope this has brought you a lot of joy like it does us. We hope this helps you in your journey with your projects. And until the next one, we'll see you back real soon.